Hello and welcome. My name is ENYELAH Brown and Taylor, and maladaptive daydreaming is what we're going to have a conversation about today. It's the best thing that you could ever have for yourself, even though it's difficult to understand how it gives life to you, how it gives your total dream life to you when used correctly. Key point. When used correctly. So diving into this, I'm going to share with you key points on why maladaptive daydreaming is more potent than regular daydreaming, why it is so addictive and so many people get so enthralled into it, and why so many people have considered it something they want to stop, they want to get away from. And then basically I want to give you some tips and tools on how you can use maladaptive daydreaming to really create the best life for yourself. So first of all, maladaptive daydreaming is different than regular daydreaming because it has not just your mind involved. It's what most people would understand as their inner child. That's kind of the lingo that is going around the internet right now. Possibly even psychologist's office, understanding your inner child. Now, this is half true and half not true. If you really want to understand maladaptive daydreaming, when you're having conversations with other people in your head, it's like your invisible friends when you were a kid. It's the cartoon characters, you're talking about all kinds of fictitious characters to adults, and you're telling them like you truly believe it. It's actually there. This is, in essence, why a lot of people call it the inner child, because the inner child sees what's in front of it and it believes it. Just as much as it believes what's going on with inside of themselves, the conversations that they're having with multiple different types of energies, going on all of these wonderful adventures inside their head while they're in reality. You know how you see a child sitting down and playing and they're doing this and they're talking away because they've got all of these different friends that they're having conversation with. This is one of the most healthy things that your child can do. This is also the most healthy thing you can do as an adult. Sit down and do something and chat to all the different characters in your head. The only thing that you can do to make it better is have it fully aligned. And that's for later on in the video, how we'll get it there. So the difference between maladaptive daydreaming and daydreaming is maladaptive daydreaming is the state that you're in when you're like a kid. So everyone wants to be their inner child. Well, you're doing it by doing maladaptive daydreaming, except for it seems a lot heavier because you've really grown and your brain is like, well, I'm not supposed to do those things. I'm not supposed to talk about the voices that are going on in my head that I'm having conversations with, and I'm not supposed to be on adventures. I'm supposed to go to school and get good grades and be a good kid and do all the things that my culture and society expect of me. And that's really, really important that you understand that. Because when a kid's brain matures to a certain place and the parents say, no, you need to stop talking about your invisible friends now, you're literally shutting down the maladaptive daydream. Everybody has been trying to get in contact with their inner child, doing all of these things, desiring it, manifesting it, and now everyone's like, oh my goodness, I can't handle the voices in my head. Well, this is actually how we're made. We're made as a light being, our human self, this beautiful aspect that we consider a human being. So this is the hue of our being, the human being. This is the light being, right? A lot of people will talk about, oh, I'm only in the light grid, I'm only in here. You're both light grid and dark grid. This is important. In ENYELAH system, ENYELAH created the entirety of a framework for the soul and the actual human to connect as one. The light and the dark are are one. They are not separate in ENYELAH. I have reconfigured and created a whole system that works in ways that you probably don't understand, supernatural stuff. I actually did it, and here there is this total everything coming through. So it's just like when you're a child, you're mostly in the inside of you, and you're just observing the world around you. But here, when you become an adult, you're more in your mind. You're more in the light being. You've got things to do. You've got to create a life for yourself and all of these things. There's different aspects of yourself that are highlighted. More light being stuff, less of the dark being within inside of you. The dark being is like your inner child. The dark being is like your soul. The dark being is where you're potently powerful. This innocent, vulnerable aspect of yourself is actually the most potent, and that's why it's so important that you listen to it. So when you're in this maladaptive daydreaming, you're actually having these conversations that your mind has said, the light world, it said that it's important to have these conversations with these specific people because you want to know a philosophy about A, B, and C, and you want to know how to create this specific thing for your life. So you give the information to your dark being, right? And then you're going to be having these conversations. Now, previously, most of the world was really under all these religions that separated the light being and your dark being. Now, the dark being is so important because it's running around and getting things for you. It's having conversations with people that possibly are more skilled, maybe more foolish than you. They're having amazing adventures. They're doing all of the fabulous things. So the things that you truly desire and want and wish for, your inner being is running around doing those things for you. This is why a lot of people will have... Now we're going to step into the addictive side of it in a second. Coming back. Daydreaming, maladaptive daydreaming. Regular daydreaming, you're sitting there, you're thinking of stuff, you're only in the light world. Maladaptive daydreaming means that you're kind of more in your dark being and you're in that space, in that inner child, in your fantasy land, wherever that is and whatever that is. It's a totally different world that is 100% real. You're both aspects of this. That's why so many people have talked about souls. They've talked about how important their inner child is. Your inner child is actually a separate part of you that you need to have a very good and powerful communication with. Once again, these are all things that I teach in ENYELAH system and throughout the whole understanding of all of my videos about having clear communication. So again, daydreaming, just the mind going off, sending signals out without understanding the rest of the dark being. Maladaptive daydreaming is more in your inner soul, is in your inner child, is your dark being, is what I call it, your dark being. It's the part that lives in an entire world that is what this one comes out of. That being is the one that goes from lifetime to lifetime to lifetime, if they do the right things. This is where wisdom comes in. All right, so now we're going to hop into why maladaptive daydreaming is so addictive. Because this is part of what we call self-mastery. So anything that you can do in this world and go a little bit crazy with, okay, we ate too many sweets today and we can't stop eating this particular thing. That's a temptation of the light world, is eating things and going overboard that way, or indulging in chemical-based things. So you're focused on things that provide chemical reactions. So your body, your brain, they provide these chemical reactions for you. You know, you're a workout. You're getting a lot of chemicals being released, right? If you're into sexual things, you're getting a lot of chemicals being released. The difference with all of these things is certain ones are just focused here, with some rooting, and some of the things that are in the light world have a really deep dark being or spiritual rooting to them. So anything that is sexual has a very big impact on your what you would call maladaptive daydreaming being. So you'll have a being there that has like a whole personality to it and is actually the one that makes sure that you are satisfied when it's satisfied. When that part of you is satisfied and is coming through into the light world, it's like, success, I'm living life, like this is what I came here for. And it's really what you did come here for, is for the inner part of you to go inside, go through the process of being grown into a human, and you become one with yourself, this beautiful, beautiful aspect of becoming one with yourself. And this is, again, why ENYELAH system is so important, because it teaches the inner being, your dark being, and your light being to rely on one another. Because when you rely on one another, you really create the perfect world for yourself. Getting back into addictions with maladaptive daydreaming and what this deeper inner world does. So what happens is when the brain is just not capable of having enough courage to stand up and believe in the inner world because of whatever you grew up with. Maybe you had something that told you the fantasy land, you're not allowed to believe in those things anymore. You just had enough evidence from the people around you, the culture around you, that fantasy land wasn't real. Well, it is real. It's happening inside of you every day, whether you're aware of it or not. Very, very, very important, whether you're aware of it or not. So, again, addictions happen more potently in this world, because this world is not just like eating a little bit of extra food, watching some stuff that is not really good for your mind. This is the place that affects how stuff comes up in the physical realm. It says if you're healthy or not. So this is why the communication from your human hue light being to your dark being or your soul, your inner child. This is so important, and a lot of people call it an inner child because it's a very innocent part in you. Now, some people might think that this part in you is the biggest monster. Well, the only reason you would think that is because it's firstly highly powerful. Secondly, it's the actual power that what you have understood God's to be, because it manifests stuff. It has the full control over your human being in all actuality. It really has all of the stuff to do that. When that part in you and this part in you, the dark being and the human being, have good connection and good conversation, which is all the things that happened in ENYELAH system, when you receive this system as your own, this belief system, this understanding and the will of ENYELAH, what happens is your human being and your dark being, they begin to actually want to create a life better for each other. Because there's things that your dark being can go and do, and it's actually super toxic for the human being. And the same thing, the human being can do a lot of things that are super toxic for the dark being. And one of these really toxic things that happens is when you get into something called limerence. So you become in love with someone in this deeper realm where the dark being that goes, and you literally, is like you going into this other aspect of yourself. You found the love of your life. The two of you connect all the time because you don't have jobs, you don't have places, you don't have families, you don't have restrictions, which the light being does. This part in you is like, hey, let's go play. Let's go do this. Let's create that. Let's make all the things happen. So your greatest, wildest things, when you learn how to master this side of yourself, you can do anything you want to. It's the most crazy, most beautiful thing. Now, the beautiful thing about this part in you is it really, you can do anything there. That part in you, you can do anything, but it's not always good for you. But this is where it's really, really, really super addictive, because you get excited that you can create all these things, and it's actually real, it's actually happening to you, and you feel fulfilled. But the problem is a lot of these things don't really come into the physical being because your physical being doesn't have enough courage to do it. Because your physical being is going to a job and doesn't believe that it can create all of these fabulous and fanciful things. This is why in the ENYELAH system, there's this sense of like, okay, we're going to take steps to create this stuff and do all this fabulous stuff, but we have to spend some time on work. We have to spend some time on creating this stuff, a little bit at a time, until you get to the place where all of you is really creating for all of you, and you do it so that the inner part in you still has lots of fun, so much fun, all the fun, and the human being has all the fun and enjoys all the life. Where it gets super addictive is really in these places where it can create so much aspects that come into the physical and create these chemical reactions. So instead of getting a chemical reaction from eating food or from going on a roller coaster, you're getting chemical reactions coming through your body and fulfillment because you're in love with someone, you've connected with them, you're living your own fantasy there, and it's so beautiful. You want to just stay there forever and ever and ever is what you say. But the problem is when it's not going to happen in this physical realm, you create a bit of a separation, but you also create a lot of mental problem because you're not actually able to bring it into reality, which is the whole purpose of living, the whole purpose of the dark being, or what you might understand as the state of maladaptive dreaming. But that's the state of it, not the being on the inside, the dark being. This part in you needs to focus on things that it can bring to the surface. Because when it naturally just brings things, eventually it's going to break through. And when it breaks through, and you realize that you can't go and slay dragons because there are no actual dragons, and you actually put in your mind one of the humans in your life as that dragon, and now you have an obsessive desire to remove that person off this earth, you used one of your greatest beautiful fantasies and your way to release your stress in your fantasy world, and now you're looking at somebody that has been in your life and you want to get rid of them. This is where it gets really bad. And I know this is an actual real life example because it happened to me. I was someone's dragon. And that person ended up really, really, really hurting me because I am a person that is fully in my dark being, and I'm in the light world consistently as one. So for me, I would feel those things because as I continue to master more of myself, I take more of my physical nerve endings and I connect it to the different aspects of my dark being within inside of myself. So when my dark being was getting mutilated by this person who wanted to continue to come after me, now they saw me as a dragon, but they had my energy connected to it, so they were coming after me. There's a lot more stuff into how all of that works, but basically she was hurting me every single day. She was coming after me and wanting certain things from me. And so when it came into the physical realm where everything in her whole world broke down, she had obsessive thoughts and many dreams about seeing my face, and there was a lot of knives involved. And it really came true because I always felt like she had done something to me. There was a lot of healing that had to go on with her and with me in order for my body to heal. This is really important. Why? Once again, ENYELAH system is how you build for yourself, how you create for yourself, how you live for yourself, how you are in all ways for yourself. And the reason that this is what happens is it takes the dark being and it takes all the connections to all the people with all their thoughts and all of their whatever fantasy they're going through, and it removes you from connecting to any one of those people on the outside. Now, this is going to be the most important for people who have very powerful people around them and or high influence. Because what happens is if you're living in your light being and in your dark being and you have that full essence of self and you're really sensitive and soft and satisfied and fully in communication, you're going to feel what these people are doing to you if you're outside of ENYELAH system. If you're inside ENYELAH system, committed and taking on the will of ENYELAH, then what happens is your dark being gets reconfigured and transformed. It's a full soul transformation or dark being transformation. And so this maladaptive daydreaming that you're constantly having becomes beautifully for yourself. You will only have yourself with you and you will only create for yourself. You won't be out there fandangling with anybody else anymore. You won't be in the community tabs and all of this and mingling with this and showing off with that and doing all these things. That stuff stops. Because now you're creating a life with your dark being for self, for your own human existence, which was the whole reason that you decided to become human in the first place, because it's fun. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be an enjoyable experience. You feel new feelings. You get to be this dual being. It's about you, with you, for you, by you, because of you. That's the whole purpose. That is ENYELAH system. And we, as my own self and all of that I am, I created this in the energy. So if you understand anything about energy and consciousness, when you tap into someone else's framework, you suck it in as your own, right? It becomes your own. Now, there's a lot of flipses and switches that I've learned how to make. If you don't do something in the light world, you can't have access in the dark world. This is so important. I'm telling you, so important. So important. When I tell you the difficulty of this type of mastery, this involves consistent all the time communication, not just here and there. It's I'm driving and I'm doing all the things and I'm doing this right now and I'm still fully here. It's not just being conscious of oneself. It is fully understanding what all the parts of me are up to, because we've decided and we know how it works now. So being in an ENYELAH system is the best possible thing you can do for yourself, for your health, like physical health, because now you know where you are, what you're doing, and you're completely just yourself inside your human. And so you get to create wonderful things and you have this beautiful space that is for yourself. It's the whole purpose of being human. So you really take into a deep understanding and fully conscious knowing of what it's like to actually be human. So you actually get a deeper experience for your dark body, your soul body. It actually gets to experience human, first of all. That's really important because now it realizes, it takes the temperature. What's the state of the world? Do I want to incarnate right now? But here's the thing. In ENYELAH system, one of the most important things is now there's a consistent stream of human beings coming through from their dark being in ENYELAH system, so that this system continues to prosper, continues to maintain its presence in the light world, so that when you're here and you have the things that are going on, you can always find ENYELAH system and you can always connect to its energetic, huge and powerful creation. This is really important for everyone to understand and know that me, specifically ENYELAH, Brown and Taylor in this life, I have chosen to consistently incarnate. So what that means for you is I will always be holding this, and it's always been programmed in me from all my other lifetimes to find myself. So now I will always be myself in my full self as the ENYELAH system. Having your power, your soul being only connected to one human that you incarnate in, and you stay like that. If anybody knows anything about spirituality, yo, you're gonna love ENYELAH system, because hey, you just want to be connected to one person and only have one dark body inside your human. Hey, when I tell you, oh gosh, the deeper you are spiritually, the more beautiful that your dark being is, and your human home. Hey, when I tell you how much people have tried, not just tried, they've done it. They've done the whole thing, and it's like, hey, I'm gonna come hide in your body. That's not even possible anymore. But that was something, and I'm sure a lot of people have experienced that feeling like you're crowded in your own. But now in ENYELAH system, I have really created and solidified that you are the only dark being in your own body. It's incredible. It's an incredible thing. So maladaptive daydreaming, it gets to be this beautiful way to create your reality. So that's the last point, is how it's so good for you. It's so good for you because when you create stuff in the world that is beneath this world, so to say, is the one that all of this comes from, the thoughts, the feelings, the emotions, right? When something has energy towards it, you're attracted to it. That's just the way things are. When you build something, at first it's got energy in it because people sawed it and people did the things and hammered it and all the things. But over time, a space just becomes a space. And unless the person who's living in it continually, make sure to cleanse everything and bring all the beautiful things into it, it's just physical space. But when it becomes energetic space and it's physical space, it's like that's a home, right? You always notice when you go somewhere when something feels like a home. You always notice when something is loaded. So a lot of times, in spiritual community, a lot of people will talk about like loaded dye. Wow, that came through. That's amazing. Loaded rings or loaded jewelry or crystals that are loaded, lots of things. It's a program, it's a prism in that in the dark world, so to say, that when you put energy through that, it comes through into the physical realm through that thing. So it's kind of like every time you pick up that stone, you're picking up like a wand, so to say, that does the same thing. It's like pushing a program, right? Pushing a button, right? It's the same thing when you have like rings on. What happens is your dark body will be wearing basically like handcuffs, right? That's what a lot of people are doing. Or if it's not handcuffs to yourself or to some of your abilities, it's siphoning. A lot of people will use rings for protection, but the thing is, they're siphoning their energy out to these other beings that walk with them. It's terrible things to go and try and do to yourself. You're literally creating things that you don't want for yourself. So if anyone who is watching this has those types of things and you're creating things based upon other beings being there for you, that's going to be heavy. That's going to be very, very heavy. I would wash yourself of that, get rid of that. Understand and know your dark being can create everything for you, from protection, from a way of living. And the best way to do it, I know for hands down, I've been through things and things and things. And the only time that I finally found greatness and grandeur in my life was really bringing these worlds into oneness for myself as like my own pod. This is something, like I said, when you commit to ENYELAH in the physical realm on ENYELAH.com, you create a profile in the multiverse and you agree to what is stated there. Put your name, you have a signature, there's a date and everything. I will be printing it off and you will have an option later on to have that mailed to you, or I'll just keep a copy for you. That's part of the whole process. It's very, very important that you know that you cannot get to download anything ENYELAH unless you are committed completely, and I have a copy of it. So whoever you are and wherever you are, the way that I create is very, very secure and a very, very powerful aspect, because you have to know that ENYELAH government governs this place. It governs this aspect in the dark world. It's very important that you know this, because in the dark world, there are many, many rules and many, many things that go through. ENYELAH is the governance and order of this place, and it is governed and kept with pristine abilities. The way that I've designed it is immaculate, and there's only one way that you can choose to bring yourself from wherever you are within inside of yourself to a place that is so beautiful, so rare. If you are a person that considers yourself so beautiful and so rare, and you always want to fill yourself up again, now is your time to learn filling yourself up, keeping yourself that way, learning how to blossom, and staying like that. The only way you can do that is under the guise of ENYELAH governance. So taking maladaptive daydreaming and realizing it's actually a real thing. It's what you experience when you were a child. It's how your brain develops. This means this is how you continue to develop and evolve as a human being. This is why ENYELAH system is also so potent and powerful. This is what you do. You're always going to be evolving. So that means when a new generation comes in and new energies come in, everybody adapts and moves with it. So there's no more like, oh, the grandma's doing it like how she did. No, grandma knows exactly what's going on from when the baby's born and new energies come in. Hey, they wanted to have this type of thing. You're creating something, writing a book about it, so that there is a platform for that new energy to come in and be on top, instead of the previous ways where every single generation is hard like stone, stuck in their ways, and the generation after, it's like total anarchy and war. Like, oh, well, we just have to deal with them and honor them because of who they are. You get to be you, for you, by you, because of you. And if someone is so great, like the grandma that sees the new kid that transpires into existence and says, hey, we need to create some stuff for them, that baby is gonna love grandma the most, because grandma actually created something that this kid needs to grow up beautiful in our own image. Our own dark being says, hey, I want to come and be human, so I'm going to pull myself into human form. That's literally how powerful you are. And if you're shaking right now, good. If you're a little bit nervous right now and you kind of want to push it away, then ask yourself, what made you believe you couldn't be this powerful? You were made to be this way. That's why you incarnated. You're not supposed to feel like, oh, why am I human? You're supposed to be like, I'm human. Let's go. Let's have some fun. Let's create some amazing things and amazing experiences. Like beautiful things like cars. Like that was a fun thing to create, wasn't it? Isn't that such a beautiful thing? There's so much gorgeous, beautiful, fabulous things to create for ourselves. And when we create them for ourselves, other people look and go, hey, oh my goodness, stuffed animals, those things are fun, right? Oh, wow. That person created a light upable screen that shows this invisible programming. Oh my goodness, is that not exactly like our inner dark self showing up on a screen, except for way more complex and way more beautiful? So very integrally, beautifully, exaggeratingly wonderful. And this, everybody who's watching, is why most people are attracted to children. Is because children have the aliveness within inside of them. This is why those who work the hardest on themselves have to tap into that inner child. But you have to realize you are God. Male or female, you're God. Because the inner being inside of you is that powerful. It's also that vulnerable. It's also that desirable to have fun. And so you need to understand and accept this about yourself. The power is actually within inside of you. It's that maladaptive daydream that all of you have been going like, why is this so amazing? Why is this so addicting? Why is it so it's this natural part in you. Of course it's a natural part in you. It's the part in you that manifests into this human existence when you allow it. That's the beautiful aspect of creating this beautiful communication, which is everything I teach in the ENYELAH system. So please come on to my channel, make sure that you have been subscribed if you're desiring this commitment, because it really is the most fabulous thing to ever be created. I'm gonna say that 100%, because being human, we can have all the stuff, but if we don't really understand how this whole human thing works, it's just like even so many people looking at maladaptive daydreaming as something that they've got to quit. Well, it's because someone told you you've got to quit being your most fabulous self and the reason you came here. So change that program. Learn to create for yourself. Come into ENYELAH system. Be governed by ENYELAH government. Ask all the questions you want on YouTube in the community tab or under my videos. Anything that is not awesome and powerful and wonderful, I will give you the comment that I give everyone, and it's not really a fun comment because there's a cost for actually everything in this entire existence. And everything in the dark world you can create how you create, and in the light world you can create how you create. And what I want you to know is I do show up to you as a very positive and powerful influence, but it is only because I am a very positive and powerful being in all that I am, and I am very highly intelligent. So if you want to come to me with kicking and screaming, I can't hear any of it, first of all, and second of all, whatever you do, you pay the damages, and that's the way it is. The highly sensitive being like myself, I'm gonna stay highly sensitive, and that is very important to you. No matter what I have been through, this beautiful connection is so important, and so it is the only reason to live. It really is the only reason to live, is to be the dark being within inside of you, coming into the light, being this beautiful oneness of self. It's all you've ever been looking for. So if you've ever been looking for a connection, this is the one connection that is the safest. It is, well, it's not, I wouldn't say it's safe, it's secure. It is the most secure. It's the most secure. It is the most valuable for you. It will always give back to you when you learn how to have this beautiful connection, commitment. When you are committing to ENYELAH system, you are truly committing to having the two, the duality of you, the dark being and the light being, with this consistent communication and learning that and developing that for yourself. My name is ENYELAH Brown and Taylor. There's only one way to always find me for sure. It's ENYELAH.com. From there, you can go online accounts, find where I am on the internet, see that you're finding me in the correct place. I want you to be supporting my pages that I created. That's really important, because then you will always get the full correct videos in all the correct information, because you're looking for all capital letters truth. Not no baby letters truth, not nobody's truth that, okay, well, that's yours. No, this is the truth that shakes worlds. This is the truth that is leading economy. This is the truth that shakes the entirety of existence into a new order and a new way, which is ENYELAH.